It really means a lot to see everyone out here tonight. I'd also like to preface this by saying that this show is extremely complex and very difficult, and the level of maturity and professionalism that was brought by these actors was overwhelming. These kids are so talented, and I am so honored to have worked with them. And before we go on, I think we owe another big thank you to our faculty advisor, Mrs. Finnegan, who spent hours and hours at rehearsals and making props and set pieces, and I believe there's a few people who want to come out and say another thank you as well.
Mrs. Finn, oh my, where should I begin with her? At first, she had a nice big drama club and we started doing another play, but then some people left and it turned out to be just over 20 of us. With that over and done, she moved on and working with the smaller group, she calmed down slightly. She asked for a spray bottle one day at practice, not for hair, not a prop, but to spray us when we messed up. But despite her fits and her spray bottle in hand, she was all we needed. She stuck with the remaining group and pushed us to our limits and our greatest. Thank you, Mrs. Finnegan. We also want to thank Brendan Stefnick for coming and pretty much translating the whole play for Mrs. Finn. He was there at the beginning and at the end, and pretty much is what allowed us to do this play with some amount of talent. And Mrs. Finn, mainly Mrs. Finn.
We also want to give a big thanks to Mrs. Wagner for doing our makeup, Kayla Chapman, Tyler Mullally, Julia Catalano, and the biggest thanks goes to Mrs. Finn and Brendan Stefnick. Thank you for such a great 2016 Drama Club season.
Mrs. Finn, if you could come out on the stage, we have something to give you.
A disclaimer about the spray bottle. It wasn't my idea. It was theirs, and it was a great visual. Honest, I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am for this group of kids this year. They really kind of overcame this challenge. This play really is not an easy play to do. I mean, they were explaining it to me as we went along. But they have conquered this thing, and they have made it their own. And it's just an unbelievable performance you're about to see. So, thank you.
And without further ado, on with the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the story of Alice in Wonderland. Alice is a young girl who longs for fun and silliness. Once in that world, she encounters a series of very odd situations and isn't quite sure how to make sense of what is happening around her. Alice begins to figure out that she really will not be able to find any logic in the events that she finds herself in. Just like in life, sometimes the unexpected can be what provides us with just the clarity we really need. Our story begins with Alice and her cat Dinah sitting by the riverbank with their sister enjoying a beautiful summer day. Alice was getting rather bored just watching her sister read her history book. She peeked at her sister's book, but there were no pictures, and what fun was that? Alice began to feel that nothing exciting would ever happen. She looked at Dinah and said,
"If I were in charge of the world, books would only have pictures, and no words, and everything would be nonsense, and nothing would make sense. and flowers would have special powers and talk to me for hours, and birds would sing just to me. And Dinah, you wouldn't have to meow, because I understand everything you were saying. This is what my world would be like, just one big wonderland.
It was as if Alice had spoken some magical words because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a rabbit appeared. This wasn't your average rabbit, but a very formal rabbit. Alice could not believe her eyes.
Oh, I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello. No time to say goodbye. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late.
What was that? And where did he go?
Alice was filled with excitement, since, in her world, rabbits were not dressed so formally, and they did not speak to humans, so off she ran to follow him. Where to, she did not know, but exciting she knew it would be.
Oh dear, I shall be too late.
Whoa!
Oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it is getting.
Wait! Wait! Can you tell me where I am? Wait!
Locked. Locked.
Locked!
Locked.
All locked! How will I ever get out again? Look at me! Look at me! I'm a tiny golden key. It might belong to one of the doors.
Oh, she's a smart one. Wish I had thought of that. What a clever ducky she is.
No.
No! No. Nope. Either the locks are too large or the key is too small. Look at me. Look at me. I might fit the golden key. Another door. I didn't see that one before. It fits. It fits. Oh, it's the loveliest garden I ever saw. Beds of bright flowers and cool fountains. Oh. Oh. I can't even get my head through the doorway. And even if I could, it would be very little use without my shoulders. Oh, how I wish I could just shut up like a telescope.
Drink
Me.
What's that?
drink
Me.
It is all very well to say drink me. I'm not going to do that in a hurry. No, I'll look first and see whether it is marked poison or not. It is almost certain that if you drink too much from a bottle marked poison, it will disagree with you, sooner or later.
drink
Me.
However, this bottle is not marked poison. Go, go, go. Ah, it's the loveliest taste. Cherry tart and apple pie and hot buttered toast. I must be shutting up like a telescope. Now I can get into that garden. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a tiny golden key. Ha ha. Oh my, I've forgotten the key. Come, there's no use in crying like that. I advise you to leave off this minute.
Hey, yo, want a piece of me?
This is a very curious place.
Hey, yo, want a piece of me?
Well, I'll eat it, and if it makes me grow larger, I can reach the key. And if it makes me grow smaller, I can creep under the door. So either way, I'll get into that garden, and I don't care which happens. Curiouser and curiouser! I must be opening up the largest telescope that ever was. Goodbye, feet. Oh, my poor little feet. Who will put on your stockings for you now, dears? I shan't be able to. I shall be a great deal too far off to worry about you. Oh, what nonsense I'm speaking.
The Duchess, the Duchess. Oh, won't she be savage if I've kept her waiting?
If you please, sir. Wait, can you tell me who I am?
Nah.
I mustn't be myself then. But if I'm not myself, then the next question is, who in the world am I? things, and she knows very little. Besides, she is she, and I'm I. I know. I'll see if I know the things that I used to. Let's see. 4 times 5 is 12, and 4 times 6 is 13, and 4 times 7... No, that's all wrong. I know. I'll try geography. Let's see. London is the capital of Paris, and Paris is the capital of Rome, and Rome... No, that's all wrong. I'm certain. I must have been changed for Maple. I've got to get back to myself. The bottle! The bottle! The bottle! I almost forgot. Oh, now I can get into that garden.
Alice was very confused about all kinds of things. She didn't know up from down or left from right. What she did know was strange things were happening, and she began to wonder what she had gotten herself into.
I hardly know, sir. Just the president. At least, I know who I was when I woke up this morning.
What do you mean?
Explain yourself. I can't explain myself, you see, sir, for I'm not myself.
I don't see.
Well, I'm afraid I can't put any word here. I barely understand as is.
Who are you?
I think you ought to tell me who you are first. Why?
Wait! Come back. I have something important to say. Keep your temper.
Is that all?
No. So you think you've changed, do you?
I'm afraid I have, sir. I don't remember things as I used to, and I don't keep the same size for 10 minutes together.
Well, what size would you like to be?
One's not particular as to size. Only one doesn't like changing so often.
Are you content now?
Well, I should like to be a little larger than 3 inches. It's such a wretched height to me.
3 inches is a very good height indeed.
It's just that I'm not used to it.
One side will make you grow taller, and the other side will make you grow shorter.
One side of what? The other side of what?
Of the mushroom?
And now, which is which? Whoa! 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 Whoa!
When Alice took a bite of the mushroom, she grew and grew and grew, but sadly found herself stuck in a tree, a somewhat odd place to be stuck in.
Serpent! I'm not a serpent! Leave me alone!
Serpent, I say again!
I haven't the least idea of what you're speaking of.
As if it wasn't trouble enough hatching the eggs. I must be on the lookout for serpents night and day. I have not had a wink of sleep these last 3 nights.
I'm sorry you've been annoyed.
And just as I had taken to the highest tree in the woods, and just as I was thinking I shall be free of them at last, they must come wriggling down from the sky. Serpent!
I'm not a serpent, I tell you. I'm a...
Well, what are you? I can see you're trying to invent something.
I'm a little girl.
A likely story. I've seen a good many little girls in my day, but never one with such a neck as yours. No, you're a serpent, and there's no use denying it. I suppose you'd be telling me Dex you never tasted an egg.
I have, but little girls eat eggs quite as much as serpents
then.
Whoa!
Eat the mushroom!
The mushroom! I almost forgot!
Alice figured out by eating the other part of the mushroom she could go back to normal size, but her journey took her to the house of the Duchess. The Duchess, although of royal blood, is not treated as such. This treatment lent itself to her somewhat sour mood. The Queen of Hearts has invited her to a game of croquet, but the invitation is not welcomed.
I've got to get back to my right size. And the next question is to get back into that beautiful garden. How is that to be done, I wonder? Wendell is here.
For the Duchess, an invitation from the Queen to play croquet.
For the Duchess, an invitation for the Queen to play croquet.
From the Queen, an invitation for the Duchess to play croquet.
From the Queen, an invitation for the Duchess to play croquet. Thank you. There's no use knocking, and that is for two reasons. First, because I'm on the same side of the door as you are. Second, they're making such a noise inside, there's no way they could possibly hear you. How am I to get in? There may be some use in your knocking. If we had the door between us, for instance, you could knock and I could let you out, you know. But how am I to get in? I shall sit here till tomorrow or next day. I shall sit here on and off for days and days. But what am I to do? Anything you like?
Alice has now entered the Duchess's house. The Duchess is in the throes of trying to calm her savagely crying baby, and Alice is not sure what to make of that or the three very odd cats she encounters.
Cat, I'm a kitty cat. And a dance, 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 and a dance, dance, dance. Cat, I'm a kitty cat. And a dance, 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 and a dance, dance, dance. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Please, would you tell me why your cats grin like that? They're Cheshire cats, and that's why. Pig! Pig! I didn't know cats always grinned. In fact, I didn't know cats could grin. They all can, and most of them do. I don't know of any that do. You don't know much. That's a fact. Oh, please, mind what you're doing. If everybody minded their own business, the world would go around a deal lot faster than it does.
Speak roughly to your little boy and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because he knows it teases. Wow, wow, wow. I speak severely to my boy. I beat him
get ready to play Prepare with the Queen.
If I don't take this child away with me, they're sure to kill it in a day or two. Don't grunt. That's not at all a proper way of expressing yourself. If you're going to turn into a pig, my dear, I'll have nothing more to do with you. Cheshire Cat, would you tell me which way I gotta go from here?
That depends a good deal on where
You want to get to.
I don't care much where.
Then it doesn't matter much.
Which way you go.
So as long as I get somewhere.
Oh, you're sure to do
That, if you only walk
long enough.
What sort of people live out here?
in that direction lives a hatter.
And in that direction lives a marsh hare. Visit either if you'd like.
They're both mad.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you
Can't help that.
We're all mad here.
I'm mad.
You're mad.
How do you know I'm mad?
You must be.
Or you wouldn't have come here.
Do you play?
Okay. With the queen today.
I should like it very much, but I haven't been invited yet.
You'll see me there.
By the by,
What?
became of the baby?
I nearly forgot to ask.
It turned into a pig.
I thought it would.
I've seen hares before, and the March hare will be the most interesting. But perhaps, as this is May, it won't be raging mad. At least not so much as it is in March.
Alice's adventures were really taking off. She now found herself at a tea party with a Mad Hatter, a hare, and a dormouse. Now, the March Hare was always drinking tea because when he tried to sing for the Queen of Hearts at a celebration of hers, she sentenced him to death for murdering time. The hare escaped having his head cut off, but angry about the hare murdering time, keeps him stuck at 6 o'clock p.m. This is the most peculiar tea party with riddles and nonsensical poetry, which will confuse Alice even more.
Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at.
No room! There's plenty of room.
Have some coffee.
I don't see any coffee.
There isn't any.
Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
I didn't know it was your table. It's late for a great many more than just 3.
Your hair wants cutting.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It's very rude.
Why is the raven like the writing desk?
I believe I can guess that.
Do you mean that you can find the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then you should say what you mean.
I do. At least I mean what I say. It's the same thing, you know.
Not the same thing of fate. You might as well say, I eat what I see. It's the same thing as I see what I eat.
You might as well say, I like what I get is the same thing as I get what I like.
And you might as well say, I sleep when I breathe is the same thing as I breathe when I sleep. It is the same thing with you. What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong! I told you butter wouldn't suit the works.
It was the best butter.
Yes, but some crumbs must have got in as well. I told you not to put it in with the bread knife.
It was still the best butter, you know.
What a funny watch. It tells the day of the month and doesn't tell what o'clock it is.
Why
year it is? Of course not. But that's because it stays the same year for such a long time.
Which is just the case with time.
I don't quite understand you.
The dormouse is asleep again.
Of course, just I was going to remark myself.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, what is it?
I haven't the slightest idea.
All right.
I think you might do something better with the time than waste it asking riddles that have no answers.
If you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's a him.
I don't quite understand you.
Of course you do. I dare say you've never even spoke to time.
Perhaps not, but I know I have to beat time when I practice my music.
Beating? Beating? Oh! If you only kept on good terms with him, he'd do almost anything you want with a clock. Say, for instance, it were 9 o'clock in the morning, just time to begin morning lessons. You'd only have to whisper it at your time and round up the clock quickly. 1:30, time for dinner.
I only wish it was.
That would be grand, certainly, but I shouldn't be hungry for it now.
Not at first, perhaps, but you could keep it at 1:30 as long as you'd liked.
Is that the way you manage?
Ha! Not I. We quarreled last March just for he went mad, you know. It was at the great concert given by the Queen, Heart, and I had to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Bat, How I Wonder Where You're At. You know the song, perhaps?
I've heard something like it.
Well, it goes on and on in this way. Up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, 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 twinkle. Well, I hardly finished the first verse when the Queen jumped up and bawled out, "He's murdering time! Up with his head!"
How dreadfully savage!
And ever since that, he won't do a thing I ask. It's always 6 o'clock now.
Is that why so many tea are put out here?
Exactly so, because we've had no time to wash the things between whiles.
Then you keep moving around, I suppose.
Yes, as the things get used up.
I vote the young lady tells us a story.
I'm afraid I don't know one.
Then the dormouse shout!
Wake up, dormouse!
Of course, I heard every word you fellas were saying.
Tell us a story.
Yes, please do.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep again before it's done. Once upon a time, there were 3 sisters named Sammy, Lucy, and Jess, and they lived at the bottom of a well.
What did they live on?
A trinkle.
They couldn't have done that, you know. They had been ill.
So they were very ill.
But why did they live at the bottom of the well?
Take some more tea.
I've had nothing yet, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It is very easy to take more than nothing.
Nobody asked your opinion.
And who's making the personal remarks now?
Why did they live at the bottom of the well?
It was a trinkle! Wow!
There's no such thing!
If you give me someone, you better finish the story for yourself.
No, I'm sorry. I won't interrupt again. Please, go on.
I want to clean cup with only one place on.
This is the stupidest tea party I've ever been to.
Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I...
A very odd tea party, to be sure, but more excitement was about to follow. Alice had no idea that one mistake made by a few playing cards would cause so much trouble and lead to a crazy game of croquet.
painting the roses red. We're painting the roses red. We dare not stop.
We'll waste a drop, so let the paint be spread.
We're painting the roses red. Look out now, 5. Don't go splashing paint over me like that.
I couldn't help it. 7 jogged my elbow. That's right, 5. Always lay the blame on others. You'd better not talk. I heard the Queen say only yesterday that you deserve to be beheaded.
What for?
That's none of your business, too. Yes, it is her business, and I'll tell her. It was for bringing the cooked tulip roots instead of onions. Of all the unjust things! Would you tell me why you're painting those roses? What are you doing? Goodness gracious! I just lost a year of my life. Nearly became a 4.
One fact is miss. This here,
I'm a tree.
a red rose tree. But we put a white one in by mistake. If the Queen were to find out, we shall all have our heads cut off. We are doing our best before she comes to
Red alert! The Queen! The Queen!
Who is this?
It is! What's your name, child? Alice, please, Your Majesty.
And who are these?
How should I know? It's no business of mine.
Up with her head! Up with her head!
Nonsense!
Consider, my dear, she is only a child.
Do you play croquet? Yes.
On then. What are we waiting for?
But this is a flamingo and the balls are hedgehogs.
Well, of course they are. How else would we play? I'm still a tree.
Croquet in Wonderland will not be the usual game. Alice has learned that the Duchess is under a sentence of execution for boxing the Queen's ears, and the Queen is all too quick to remove someone's head.
Welcome to croquet, that game we play. We hope you enjoy our crazy day.
Whoa! Even though I did get the flamingo with no legs, it's been a very fine day.
Very. Where's the Duchess?
Hush, hush. She's under sentence of execution.
What for?
She boxed the Queen's ears. Oh, hush, the Queen will hear you.
Get to your place. On with his head. On with her head.
They're dreadfully fond of beheading people here. The great wonder is that there's anybody left alive.
How are you getting on?
Well, they don't seem to play at all fairly, and there doesn't seem to be any rules. And at least, if there is, nobody seems to attend to them.
Oh, my fur is so soft and lovely. Oh, it makes me so handsome. Okay, maybe not.
How do you like the Queen?
Oh, not at all. She's so extremely likely to win that it's hardly worth finishing the game.
The trial is about to begin.
The trial! The trial!
Oh, I must get ready.
Did you ever see such a bizarre game of croquet? Well, the trial of Vere had come to the land of wonder. As we've seen since the beginning of the story, nothing has made sense. It is clear to say that this trial won't make sense either.
the Knave of Hearts. She stole those cards and took them quite away. Consider your verdict. Not yet, not yet. There's a great deal to come before that. Well, call the first witness. First witness.
I beg your pardon, Your Majesty, for bringing these in, but I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was sent for.
Well, you ought to have finished. When did you begin?
14th of March, I think it was.
15.
16th!
Write that down and take off your hat.
I can't, it isn't mine.
Stolen!
No, I keep them to sell. I've none of my own. I'm a hatter. Give your evidence, and don't be nervous, or I'll have you executed on the spot. I'm a poor man, Your Majesty, and I hadn't begun my tea not above a week or so ago. And what with the bread and butter being so thin, and the twinkling of the tea?
The twinkling of the what?
It began with tea.
Well, of course twinkling begins with a T. Do you take me for a dunce? Go on.
I'm a poor man, Your Majesty, and most things twinkled after that. Only the March Hare said,
I didn't.
I deny it. Leave that part out.
well, anyway, the Dormouse said, Twinkle!
Write that down.
After that, I cut some more bread and butter. I'm a poor man, Your Majesty.
You are a very poor speaker.
If that's all you know of this business, you may stand down.
I can't go no lower, sir. I'm on the floor as it is.
Then you may sit down.
I'd rather finish my tea.
Call the next witness. Call the next witness. Give your evidence.
Can't.
Well, that's that then.
Your Majesty must cross-examine this witness.
Well, if I must, I must. So, tell me, cook, what are tarts made of?
Pepper, mostly.
Jacob, curl that dormouse, behead that dormouse, turn that dormouse out of court, suppress her, pinch her, out with her whiskers.
Call the next witness. Really, my dear, you must cross-examine the next witness. It quite makes my forehead ache.
I'm very curious to see who the next witness is, for they haven't gotten much of anything yet.
The next witness is Alice.
Here,
And what do you know of this business?
nothing,
Nothing whatever?
nothing whatever.
That's very important.
Unimportant, Your Majesty means. Of course.
Unimportant, of course I meant. Important, unimportant, unimportant, important. Silence! Rule 42, all persons more than a mile high must leave the court.
I'm not a mile high.
You are!
Nearly 2 miles high. Well, I stand for anything. Besides, that's not a regular rule. You just invented it now.
It's the oldest rule in the book.
Then it ought to be number 1.
Consider your verdict.
Not yet, please, Your Majesty. This paper is just picked up.
What's in it?
Well, I haven't opened it yet, but it seems to be a letter written by the prisoner to somebody.
Well, it must have been that, unless it was written to nobody, which isn't usual, you know.
It isn't a letter after all. It's a set of verses.
Are they in the prisoner's handwriting?
No, they're not.
Well, she must have imitated somebody else's hand.
Please, Your Majesty, I didn't write them. Can't prove I did. There's no names at the end.
Well, that only makes the matter worse. You must have been up to some mischief, or else you would have signed your name like an honest woman.
Clever, clever, very clever. Oh, isn't she the cleverest thing you ever saw? That proves her guilt. It proves nothing of the sort. Why, you don't even know what they're about.
Read them.
Where shall I begin, please, Your Majesty?
Begin at the beginning and go on until you reach the end. Then stop.
They told me you had been to her, and mentioned me to him. She gave me a good character, but said I could not swim.
Mentioned me to him, said I could not swim.
He sent the word I had not gone. We know it to be true.
true. If she should push the matter on, what would become of you?
We know it to be true. What would become of you?
My notion was that you had been, before she had this fit, an obstacle that came between him, ourselves, and it.
Before she had this fit, him, ourselves, and it. Him, ourselves, and it!
That's the most important piece of evidence we've found yet.
I believe if any one of you can explain it, there's not an atom of meaning in it.
She doesn't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
Well, that saves us a world of trouble, you know, if there's no meaning in it, as we needn't try to find any. Let the jury consider their verdict.
No. Sentence first, verdict afterwards.
Stuff is nonsense. The idea of having a sentence first.
Hold